How's the gift card coming?
Nice. It's in progress.
Why are you laughing at me?
No, I just think you're funny. Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to Big Things. I'm Mitzi. This is Mike.
This is Mike, and this is our show where we talk about the things that we're seeing in marketing, social media, pop culture, and sports. We'll also talk through signals that we're watching and how they could influence the future of digital marketing. You can, of course, catch this show on YouTube, which I hope most of you are watching on YouTube by now. If you're not, try it. But if you need podcast players, it's available there too. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, like, comment, send us a DM, let us know what you think.
Yeah, today on the show, we're talking about a few big things. First one is Zara launched its repair and resell platform in the U.S. A new study found that teens' favorite activity is going to the movies, and clubbing culture is dying, at least in the UK.
The Brits.
The Brits. They're struggling with their clubs.
They don't be in the club.
In the club, we all fam. Do you know what that is?
I know it's from TikTok.
Nice. But have you ever seen anyone do it?
No, I've just seen people like meme it. Yeah.
Same thing.
That's most of my TikTok experience is just like hearing it like as a byproduct from other people.
Do you get your TikTok trends on Reels or you get them on TikTok?
I get them from you and people at Arcade.
So on our Hello Arcades TikTok, which you should go check out and follow. It's a good account.
Hello Arcade on TikTok.
Yes, go do
14K followers. Blowing up.
Yeah, doing our best. Slowly growing over there.
Yeah, it's mostly the social team just kind of showing life on the social team.
They're doing amazing work. And I'm excited to celebrate them at our annual holiday party, which is coming up so soon.
It is coming up.
I'm deep in the planning mode.
Now that Halloween's over, we immediately switched to Christmas.
It's true. We had our tree up this weekend, which is like, November 3rd, 4th?
Something like that. The last few days has been a blur. As
yeah.
we shared, we were sick.
Yeah. But it feels so good to have like the tree up. We got 2 trees. I surprised you with a second tree. I went to Michael's with my daughter and we came home with a second tree and a ton of more decorations. But aren't you glad? It's like a good vibe though, right?
When the credit card statement says Michael's outing was more expensive than our weekly grocery run, you know that a lot of damage was done.
You know what? You should be grateful because I went crazy because we keep those decorations literally for years. We've had some of ours for so many years, and it's such a good investment because it's what makes our children's memories. Like they remember those things.
I'm with you. Yeah, that's why I didn't complain.
I know.
I just thought it was funny.
I'm just saying it for the gram. Right nice. But yeah, our Christmas decorations are up, and I used to be kind of self-conscious about being one of those people that decorates early, but I found last year there was this meme going around, which I will believe is true, that apparently studies show that people who decorate earlier for Christmas are happier.
Oh, 100%. It's no mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the season is I'm sure there's people out there that have bad experiences or references to this holiday season, but for our household specifically, it's nothing but good memories, and we're trying to do the same for our kids. So, yeah, it brings me more happiness. It makes me feel like my problems are smaller and the moments are even more valuable.
Yeah, and I think with kids, you kind of just like see it through their eyes. Like I do feel the anxiety and stress that I know a lot of people feel around the holidays, but because I'm like doing it for them, it's different.
What stress are you talking about?
Just like getting everything in order and like getting all the gifts.
Gift shopping and stuff?
And it's like it's so expensive. Like it's an expensive season. So like.
But that's what Black Friday, Cyber Monday is for.
I know. Get ready.
Yeah, get those discounts.
I'm so ready.
Yeah. And I think we've gotten good at the gifts thing in the last few years since we had kids too. It's like quality over quantity, not overdoing it, like everything within reason, you know, and we're better at doing more like gift exchanges or Secret Santa with family. So it's not like everyone's buying everything for everyone. So I feel like overall in our world, the stress has come down over the last few years.
I also have like lots of things to plan and coordinate. Like I'm planning our holiday like party for our team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big soiree every year, and every year I try to outdo the last year. So working hard on that. I'm doing a little site tour tomorrow. I'm excited.
Oh, you are?
Mm-hmm.
Where was my invite?
I was going to talk to you about a few things I need your decisions on.
Oh, okay. But am I invited to the tour?
If you want.
Interesting.
I was going to invite Pamela too.
Cool. So you're going to invite Pamela and not me.
For the content. No, I of course was going to talk to you and give you the option. I just know you're a busy man.
That's true. Very thoughtful, very demure of you. Did I use that right?
No.
The other thing about the holidays before we move on is that we always find that it's our one time of year. It's almost like our annual honeymoon. And what I mean by that is like clients respect the honeymoon. You know, They like give you the space. They understand that you're offline. But for other times of year, it's harder. Mm-hmm. It's harder to be away and like maintain the integrity of your client relationships and the quality of your service. So the only time of year that is remotely feasible is the days between Christmas and New Year's. Mm-hmm. So we always look forward to that as well. That's like our burnout recovery zone and our preparation for the new year. I know you love setting goals. I don't mind setting goals. I don't look forward to it as much as you do. I'm still in vacay mode when you start thinking about that. But yeah, we're pretty excited post-holiday party to just tune out, and our team gets to do the same.
Yeah.
We do a shop shutdown, so.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Bless up.
I love those days. I just don't want it to come too fast. I want to enjoy everything like every day until then, you know?
Yeah, because January and February is just mid.
This year, I'm going to adopt a winter mindset. I actually started reading this book that Mel and our team recommended. It's called, I forget, something about wintering, like surviving winter, thriving in winter. And I just started the book, so I don't really know like the tips yet. But basically, it's like about how to embrace the winter season. And it's not like all just like dark and dead. There's like a lot of like beauty in it and just being able to like embrace the cozy vibes. And it was written by this researcher out of California who traveled to this like Nordic town. It's like the most northern like city where they have this like institute where they study these things. And like that town has like the lowest rates of like sad and like depression and all that. And they just have like really embraced the winter season. And so like all the tips and learnings from that. So I'm going to embrace it this year.
I love it. I think that's really, as you're talking about that, I was thinking about how to be happy in a city where it gets cold.
Yeah.
And so many people tout places like Vancouver or, you know, California, obviously, over kind of like middle of the country, prairie, especially like cold places. Mm-hmm. But I think Alberta and Calgary specifically are so underrated. Because all you really have to do is winterize yourself.
Yeah.
All you have to do is prepare. The people that complain about Calgary winter are just unprepared.
Right.
But I think we've worked really hard over the last couple of years to winterize ourselves, and now we actually do enjoy winter. I feel like last year we enjoyed winter.
I don't fully enjoy winter. I love until, like you said, like end of January or end of December. January,
I feel
February
like you
is
enjoy
hard.
it longer than that. I feel like once it gets, it's like March, April when it's getting
Yeah,
hard.
I think we need to embrace winter sports too. Mm-hmm. And I think we need better lighting at home.
Yeah.
Less overhead, more ambiance.
Yeah, for sure. I think, okay, here's my winterizing checklist for all the people listening.
Okay.
Why you should move from a wet climate like Vancouver to Calgary and what you should do to be happy. So Vancouver, nothing against Vancouver. I like going there, but
Vancouver.
The winter is so hard there. It's dark, gray, and wet for like at least 45 days, sometimes 45 days straight, and multiple months, like fairly consistently. Mm-hmm. And even if you prepare yourself, you're always cold.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, no matter who you are or how you are, you're always cold because that wet cold gets to your bones. Move to Calgary and prepare yourself with the following checklist. Get winter tires on your car. You're going to love driving in the winter if you have winter tires in your car. They take care of the roads and you don't slide around. And you actually love getting out of the house, which is important because it's sunny in Alberta. Mm-hmm. So if you get out of the house in the winter, you're going to be happy because you're going to get the vitamin D, vitamin delicious. The other thing you need to do is you need to get a down-filled parka. You can get these. People think these are expensive. You can get them on sale. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I told you about it. Or off season. Get a parka, get a fleece, get whatever you need to do to feel really excited about what you're wearing when you leave the house. Get some gloves, get 2 different kinds of gloves. Get mitts, but also get gloves that you can use for driving, scraping your window in the morning, or like going for a walk with your coffee or your dog. Get a dog, by the way. Get a dog to get out of the house. That's not part of my checklist. That's just a bonus item. But also shoes. Footwear is very important. A lot of people aren't big fans of boots. I'm not a fan of boots. So what was a game changer for me was finding Gore-Tex shoes. So Solomon's are having a moment. They have been for the last couple of years. Get a pair of Solomon Gore-Tex shoes. Get some wool socks or some thick socks that are cozy that you enjoy wearing. That if you're wearing Gore-Tex shoes, your feet are just going to be just as warm as if you were wearing boots, but they're far more functional. They're still very grippy. I also just got some Hokas that are very grippy. I also have some District Vision New Balance. They're just sneakers, but they're very grippy. They're weatherproof. They get you through it. You still look cool. You still get the job done, but you can get out of the house, feel good, be happy.
I love it.
What else do we need? What else goes on the list?
You should take vitamin D.
Yes, take vitamin D. We all have a deficiency in the winter if we're not taking it because the days are so short.
Lots of candlelight.
Yeah. Get one of those alarm clocks in the morning that's like a sunrise alarm clock so that it's easier to wake up even when it's dark. I don't know.
A lot of tips.
If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. But if you do those things and you move to Calgary, you will be happy. Happier than if you live in Vancouver.
I love how it's like, if you move to Calgary, you'll be happy.
Yeah, we need a sponsored placement with like the city of Calgary.
The city of Calgary.
Or something like that. Travel Alberta, come through.
Calgary Economic Development.
CED, let's go.
Well, I love that PSA. Thank you for that.
All right.
Should we get into our first big thing?
Let's do it.
Okay. Shifting gears a little bit, Zara launched its repair and resell platform in the U.S. After launching pre-owned platform in 16 countries, including Italy, the UK, and France, Zara is bringing its circularity initiative to the U.S. market. Launching nationwide, customers can access the pre-owned platform on Zara's website, the Zara app, and in Zara stores. The platform has 3 major pillars: repair, resell, and donate. Its repair service will allow customers to request a repair on any Zara garment from any season, from replacing buttons and zippers to seams. The resell option allows customers to sell Zara garments from any collection organized by product categories with detailed information about the item, including Zara's original information about the garment and images. Zara said its goal is to offer customers a complete approach to circularity and extend the life of their clothes through its internally developed artificial intelligence that matches customers' photos, names, and descriptions to the website. When a customer is looking to resell, they can take a photo of the garment and upload it to the pre-owned platform, which will automatically populate it with the original item images and details, and the reseller only needs to add its sizing and condition of the item.
This is so good. Before you get into the circular fashion stuff, I just want to say that I don't really shop at Zara for myself because I don't really like the menswear. I got my wedding suit there. Shout out cheap suits.
You might get your holiday suit.
Maybe. Don't blow my my holiday party outfit plans. But we shop there a lot for our kids. And I know you buy stuff there. But it's like a tech company. It's not just a fashion company. This is a tech company. Last time we were there buying clothes for our kids, instead of going up to the upstairs cashier, there was a whole checkout area in the lower level where the kids' stuff was.
Well, they have that at the upstairs. So all cashiers,
Yeah, so instead of your typical cashier experience, like if you're at Foot Locker or something where it's absolute chaos, there's these it's kind of like a big sink.
Yeah.
Like in your parents' laundry room.
Yeah, it's a big, wide, deep sink.
Yeah, but you put one item in at a time in this sink. It must be some like weird magnet, like QR scanning sink that recognizes things, and it populates the product on the screen for you. You're not scanning anything. It just drops in there. And I was even dumping multiple things in at a time, and it was recognizing it. It was the most efficient thing I've ever seen. And then I could just dump it all back in the bag after I was done and just pay for it and leave. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And it must be similar technology that they're using here where you just take a photo and it just recognizes it and gives you all this information. So not only can you resell this stuff, which is the moral of the story, but it is incredibly easy, which means that
Yes.
people are actually going to do this.
No, I know. That's such an important piece of it because selling stuff takes so much work. Like, I have bags of clothes in our
Yeah.
closet I'm going to sell.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that. Get that stuff out of
I
there.
know, but it's just like, I know I could get money for it, but I have to go to like a consignment store and have them like go through it, or I have to take photos of it, like each individual item in different angles, and then post it online and then wait for people to like respond and like do all the stuff. So it just takes time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the technology of it, this is like an example of someone using AI for good, finally. Like, save me time, make it easier to support circular fashion. Like, I love it.
Yeah. And I think it's so cool too because we all have mistrust in big brands and big companies like this, that we already have preconceived understandings that they're exploiting in some way, whether they're exploiting a labor market in another country or they're exploiting like some sort of supply chain thing that's allowing them to sell for cheap but still make crazy margins, whatever it is. So I think when you hear something like this, you automatically want to assume some sort of virtue signaling. But I think that's not what's happening here. Like, this is actually a company, a large company like Zara, doing something for good. That's
Yes.
actually good.
I don't know if their supply chain like issues are totally like perfect though. Like, I think they still get a lot of heat for their way and like treatment of like garment workers and things like that. But this for sure is like an amazing thing that the company is doing.
For sure. I'm not saying that those issues are resolved, but I'm saying this is actually like a real, tangible,
Yes.
positive thing that they're doing, and not just like to like appease people.
100%. Yeah. So I think this is smart in so many levels. First of all, it's showing their commitment to circular fashion and sustainability. And Gen Z and millennial shoppers like actually really care about the environment. And it's a major concern that influences purchasing decisions, especially for things that cost a bit lower. So like when they're considering like, where am I going to buy my next sweater? Like, why not Zara? Like, this is actually such a good move by the company for that reason. Secondly, they're getting into the resale market. We talked about, well, we didn't talk about it on this show, but we discussed in Scan Club about IKEA getting into the resale market. So IKEA has like a similar version of their own resale
I think
like,
we did
platform.
talk about it on the show.
Really? I can't remember if we did. Oh, we did. Okay, cool. We've talked about it on the show before. But basically, it's just like a smart business move. People are selling your products already. Why not get in on that business and own that market?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to your product. Like, I'm sure Zara is making a small commission off all the sales. And honestly, if they're saving me all that time, like, I don't mind.
Yeah, exactly. I'm willing to pay a commission for that kind of efficiency and ease.
100%.
And I think too, like, they get criticism that their garments don't last, and maybe their adult garments are different. I don't know what your experience has been with the stuff that you buy from there, if it kind of like disintegrates over time or like loses its shape. But the kids' clothes that we've gotten there have actually lasted pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, through our 6-year-old daughter and now to our 2-year-old son, and now we're kind of still like, should we give these to someone?
Yeah, I have so much stuff I'm going to give away to people. But yeah, I agree. Their clothes, like my personal experience hasn't been great with Zara clothes. So it's like up. It depends on the clothing. Like, some things have lasted a long time and they've been great. Some things haven't. But
Right.
I think the fact that they're willing to repair clothes,
100%.
that's one thing I haven't seen any other company do. Like, it's such a genius move because it's showing to the consumer that this can last you a long time if you take care of it and fix a few seams here and there, or adjust a button or put on a button or whatever. Like, it just really means that they're standing by their products in a way that I haven't seen other companies do before.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see other companies follow? Like,
I hope so.
Is Gap going to do this?
I would love to see that.
H&M, I think the quality is even worse, but I think they maybe have more variety. So it'd be cool to see a company like H&M maybe doing something like this as well. Is H&M Canadian?
No, it's Swedish.
Right. Okay.
I also think it's really smart for Zara to keep its clothes out of its landfills. Like, I think for people who maybe like will donate their clothes and eventually like the end cycle is they get to landfill. And I don't think that this will prevent that 100%. But I think the fact that they're taking it back and reselling it or donating, like, you can either resell, repair, or donate through this platform. So I think for them to make sure that like their clothes aren't staying or going to every other landfill where every other retailer is going is like smart. Like I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm sure they're going to do some sort of disposal, but I think it's like smart as a company. Like you don't want to see your clothes in landfills, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Or
We
even
need
at,
less in landfills in general.
for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. So I love this. I'm
I love
excited
it
about
too.
it. I also loved their announcement video. Did you see it?
I did.
It was so good.
Yeah, it kind of connected to what we were talking about on the last episode, where it feels like there's just going to be a continued move more and more towards UGC style content and lo-fi, just because of the decisions platforms like Instagram are making. But I think it's not just from a practical standpoint. I think brands are somehow just kind of like also leaning into that more approachable like style.
Yeah. It's almost like what would a cool like European fashion girly post? And, like that's
Right.
like the video. And it's completely opposite to like Gap's campaigns. Like Gap's are campaigns are and I love Gap's campaigns. Like they're iconic for a reason, but they're like highly produced, well lit, like pretty simple usually, but they're like commercials, you know, and they feel like commercials. But this Zara campaign was really interesting because it just felt like social. Like it felt like social content, but it came from Zara.
Yeah. And we've talked a little bit about how platforms like Instagram and TikTok are trying to, even YouTube are trying to replace broadcast television and kind of get that user base. And I think that's true, but I think the effort isn't to just like take TV programming onto these platforms, which a lot of brands still seem to be trying to do, like TV commercials on Instagram
Yeah.
with the production level, but also just the way that the treatments that they use. And I like seeing brands that are still part of that kind of migration from broadcast into social, but also showing that you can do content better than that. And
Yeah.
also users consume content differently than that now.
Yeah. I mean, I love this video. I don't know if Zara's going to continue like that style of content. I also do love Gap's like ads because I do feel like they have that like high production, well lit style.
Yeah.
But it is made for social. Like, do you remember
Exactly.
that Tyla video? You know, the singer who sings Water, she did that video, which is a remake of the Jungle music video. And she was in like her khakis. It went viral and went like crazy in the summer.
I don't think I've seen it, but
Oh, I'll
I
show
know
it to
who
you.
Tyler
But
is.
yeah, so they did that video and it was like a remake of one of Gap's older commercials because Gap's older commercials were like kind of music video style where there was like a dancing kind of portion to it in like the all Gap clothing. Like those are the commercials I remember. So I love that Gap like leans into that and it's still high produced, but there's like, you know, it's intentionally made for social consumption because they're using like really they're like working through songs that are really trending on social or using personalities that have like a great social presence like Tyla. And then I just saw their latest campaign. I think it's for the holidays. But they picked all these like really great singers who have like these like great big singing platforms. Like they're just like amateur singers. And they put him in a room, like of course in all Gap clothing, and they sang this Janet Jackson song, and it was a
I love
cappella,
that.
and it was so good. So I love how they think.
We stand nostalgia for sure.
Absolutely,
We go crazy for it out
it's
here.
so true.
Yeah, I think I'm even thinking about brands, and they're not doing it necessarily lo-fi or even nostalgia, but some of the high fashion brands like Hermes. I was looking at their social content recently, and it was like completely different, but still different than TV. You know, like a lot of it was like art based and like 3D and more like just artistic in general, even like almost like I don't know what you would call it, like claymation almost. Like
Oh, okay,
yeah, just a completely different take on
Yeah.
creative, but it still fits the brand.
that's cool.
It's like scroll stopping, and it's also not necessarily like with a CTA to like buy Hermes because not everyone
Right.
can buy it, but it's just like kind of establishing their presence on the platform, but doing content interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Another brand that does such a good job in like the high fashion space is Jack Muse.
Yes.
They're the best
We
social
love them.
fashion brand out there. I love, 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 love what they do. I think it's like they're the standard.
Yeah. By the way, if you're a 3D designer or a motion designer or both, we need to talk.
Yeah,
we need a few of you.
We need to find a few.
Because we want to do more content like Jack Muse.
But all this talk about like these fashion brands when you think about when I worked in retail. Did you ever work in retail?
I did. Not as much as you. I did like work ed at Sport Check.
Sport Check.
Back in the day, I also worked at a music store, just kind of like a local music store. I'm trying to think if I did any other retail than that. That might be it.
Nice.
What were your retail spots?
I worked at H&M, which was such a tough job. Like I really have so much like grace for the people that work at H&M because it's like your job is just to clean the whole time. Like it's like such a busy place. You're not even there to help customers. You're literally there to keep order.
Sounds like what we do at home.
Put clothes back. Truly.
Our job is just to clean all the time and put clothes back. Clothes and toys. But yeah, I get it. I feel like I remember when I was younger shopping at H&M and just seeing the staff just seemed constantly busy.
Yeah. It was like I've never seen like a retail environment like that. Like I know there's lots of like people who work at Aritzia. It's like a sales job. Like you're there to like sell the clothes to the customers and that's actually how you get your hours. But like at H&M, you're not there for any other reason but to clean the clothes.
Yeah, because I feel like there's H&M and I feel like it's like this at Old Navy more than other stores, but there's always just piles of clothes everywhere. Like the people shopping just are like making work for the staff.
For sure.
Any other retail jobs that you worked?
I worked at Buffalo. Why are you trying to get to one?
No, I'm just curious.
Oh, okay.
I want to know. I want to picture like young Mitzi working at H&M, you know?
Yeah.
Did you have all the friends?
I had all the friends.
Were you a leader or a follower?
I was indifferent.
You were the gossip queen?
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I was actually, I worked in the men's section and I actually got to help a few celebrities.
Like?
Corey Monteith, R.I.P.
Who's that?
He's the guy from Glee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I helped him find a V-neck t-shirt.
I was all about the V-necks.
I know you were.
At a certain point.
V-necks and ponytails.
I was like, I feel like it was as I was exiting high school into university and I was like, I had a little bit of chest hair. You know, and I was just like,
proud.
Had to have like a moderately deep V.
How deep?
So
How deep did your V go? Here. That is deep.
No, there's deeper ones.
What?
Like all the like punk and like emo singers had deeper ones, but mine was like moderately deep.
Right. I wonder if V-necks like that would ever come back.
They will.
Because everything
unfortunately
comes back. Like what if Timo, like our son one day, is just wearing a deep V-neck?
Your husband might be wearing a V-neck again at a certain point.
I cannot allow that for you.
You never thought you'd see me in like straight leg or baggy pants, but those came back.
Now I hope I never see you in skinny pants.
I know. I hope I never have to wear those again.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Okay, should we move on to the thing two?
Yeah, a new study out of UCLA found that teenagers' favorite thing to do is to go to the movies.
Speaking of the youth.
I'm so happy to hear this, honestly, before our kids grow up, because like there was more stuff that we were getting into when we were in high school, when we were teenagers.
Literally clubbing, which is their third story.
Yeah, like if our daughter's favorite thing to do is go to the movies with their friends, bless her.
Absolutely.
Be empowered.
Yes.
Go to the movies.
Go to the movies.
I'll get you a scene membership, you know, rack up those points, get the candy.
Yeah.
Worst things could be happening.
Absolutely.
The latest installment of the university's Teens and Screens report, which first off, credit to UCLA for just a good name for a report. That makes me want to read the report.
Yeah. It
Teens
makes
and Screens.
It's like gives me what I know. Like it's clear. It's concise. It's snappy.
Teenage Mutant Movie Watchers, something fun. It surveyed 1,500 young people across the U.S. ages 10 to 24, identified going to see a film on opening weekend as adolescents' number one preferred pastime when cost, transportation, and other barriers are removed from the equation, which for 10 to 18-year-olds, those things are all removed from the equation for the most part.
Yeah.
Among that age group, moviegoing ranked above watching sports. I don't know about that. Playing video games. Don't know about that either. streaming movies or TV shows on personal devices and other forms of entertainment.
Yeah, this is why it's so shocking to me. Like, I would have assumed that teens, when given the choice and all financial barriers are removed, would have preferred to like play video games.
Yeah,
like
or go
that's
to a
my
concert
perception.
or
sports. Like it's just so shocking that it's like going to the movies.
Yeah, I'm here for it though.
I love it.
According to the UCLA report, 36% of adolescents prefer fantasy over other genres. My people, let's go. 64% value stories about friendship and platonic relationships over romance, which is different than our generation. We love the rom-coms. 62% believe that sex scenes are not necessary to advance the plot of TV shows and movies.
Love this.
I love this for our kids. Let's go. And I lost my spot. Only survey participants 14 and older were asked for their opinions about on-screen sex. Cool. On the other end of the spectrum, only 7% of young people enjoyed movies and TV shows about the rich and famous. 14% said they wanted to watch films and series tackling real-life issues that affect society.
This makes me feel like the youth are okay.
We have hope for Gen Alpha, Gen Z.
It's going to be okay. I love that, like, 62% believe that sex scenes are not necessary to advance the plot. And I know I'm a grandma, okay? Like, I know I'm a grandma who doesn't go out and is, like, boring and, like, doesn't like video games. But I've lately been feeling like some of these sex scenes are, like,
it's too much.
Yeah, like,
and
what happened to Hello? It's just, like, too, like, it's, like, suddenly it's there and, like, someone's fully naked. And I always think about how they film that scene. Like, I just can't help it. And I get, like, so concerned. Like, and I know there's, like, a lot of, like, safe practices and, like, and they're all consenting adults and it's an art, whatever. But, like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah, like, sure, everyone's consenting and there's, like, the sex
and
positive
it's not
movement. That's
sex,
great.
I get it.
Yeah. But I think, is it adding value to the plot? Mm-hmm. That's the question, you know? And
sometimes it is.
Yeah. But sometimes you could easily just imply it and move on.
For sure.
Or just be less graphic.
Or not have it.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's not, I don't feel like it's always necessary.
Yeah. And I don't even think, to clarify, I don't think we're talking about this through the lens of, like, we're parents with kids. We're talking about it through the lens of even us watching stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe when we were younger, it was, like, cool because we were free from our parents' like Overwatch to be able to see some of that kind of stuff. And we were still in that, like, exploratory phase of our lives. But I think at this point, it's kind of like, we get it. We get the point. We get the idea. Let's move on to, like, the more, like, interesting parts of the show or this movie.
And I love that teens are more interested in, like, platonic friendship content, like movies about that.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, as a kid who grew up in, like, the Disney, like, old Disney genre where, like, every single movie was about a princess who's, like, yearning for a prince to rescue her. Like, I'm just so happy that, like, this next generation isn't served only those options and that they're yearning for more of, like, you know, movies and shows and content that show friendships, like real deep friendships.
Personal empowerment, positive friend groups, and, like, family structures and networks and all that kind of stuff. I'm here for it.
Only 7.2% of young people enjoyed movies and TV shows about the rich and famous.
Yeah.
That's
see you later,
shocking.
Kardashians.
That's shocking to me because Bravo better do something. Like, they need to start investing in, like, Bravo camps or something.
Well, I think even, I guess in a way, this is rich and famous. Like, I was going to reference the Wags show that's coming on Bravo, but they're kind of, it seems like they're taking the angle of, like, the less rich and famous way.
Yeah.
Obviously, if their partners are in the NFL, they're making good money, but
they're rich and famous. I feel like Bravo as a whole, like, that whole network is, I mean, maybe it's not that whole network.
But Bravo's not for the kids.
No, it's not for the kids. But, you know, sometimes I think about, like, future and longevity. Like, these reports matter to decision makers in this network because they have to start considering their audiences and, like, developing new audiences, and oftentimes it's younger audiences or other, like, demos. So when you consider, like, and it's fine, like, I don't think we need to change the way what the youth want. I think we just maybe need to offer more variety. Like, they're not going to be watching The Real Housewives.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, what does reality TV look like when it's just about normal people?
No idea.
Normal people in platonic relationships. I'm curious.
Yeah.
It's going to force us to be creative.
I love to see it.
Me too.
What this reminds me, have you seen, speaking of the younger generation, I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Skibidi?
Yeah, Skibidi toilet.
Skibidi toilet.
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
You need to watch that video.
I honestly saw this in the script and I thought about watching it so I could say yes.
Can I just show you in real time? I want to get your reaction on tape. Hold on, there's a commercial. I'll make sure it's like quiet so we're not like infringing on any copyright. But it's
I watch most content on silent anyway. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that would show up in my algorithm and I'd send it to 2 or 3 of my friends.
What? You would?
Yeah, I'd be like, LOL, this is you. LOL, saw your face in the toilet.
Stop. Like, this is crazy. It
reminds me of the weird stuff we'd watch, like Homestar Runner and like
I don't know what that is.
Salad Fingers and stuff like that growing up, you know? It's just that kind of cringe.
Yeah, it's so weird to me. It reminds me, honestly, of Nutter Butter.
Yeah, for sure.
So there is this demand for that kind of like weird, unhinged content. I don't get it. It's personally not for me, which is fine.
I think it's just another version of like a break from reality.
Yeah. Okay. If Gen Alpha wants to watch Skibidi and go to the movies, that's okay. As long as that's as far as it gets, you know?
Yeah. The Lord be with them.
Yeah. Feel free. But
go forth and prosper.
Did you see Northwest gifted Kim Kardashian a necklace that said Skibidi toilet in diamonds?
Yes, I saw that. Northwest is really like...
I love her.
Yeah, I wasn't going to criticize her. I just feel like she's like really developing a personality.
I love it. She's like a little Kanye.
But she's got some Kim in her for sure.
For sure, yeah. I love her personality.
Yeah.
I think it's like, there was an episode of The Kardashians I watched where she wanted a snack and she reached for an onion and was eating it like an apple.
What?
Yeah. And she was kind of like trolling Kim. Like
she just lives to troll Kim.
I think so.
Skibidi toilet necklace and eating an onion.
Yeah. And anyways, the internet had the most hilarious reactions to.
And she didn't make any faces while she's eating it?
No.
That reminds me, I've seen some content. I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok or Instagram where I think most of it is duetted, but it all started with an original video of a girl taking a lime and like squeezing it into her mouth. And then she was kind of like, she went like this and had no facial reaction. And then people duetting it being like, kind of like, I can do that too. They go get a lime, they squeeze it into their mouth, but then they can't keep themselves from having a facial reaction. Kind of like when you do a tequila shot. Mm-hmm. But I've seen that like repeatedly in my algorithm for some reason.
Lime?
Yeah.
That's random.
Lime juice. Maybe we need to try it on the next episode.
That hard pass. I wouldn't mess up my makeup
tried
for that.
Dua Lipa's Diet Coke.
Yeah, but I don't want to like mess up my makeup.
How are you messing up your makeup squeezing lime into your mouth?
Oh, it's like not all over your face?
No, you squeeze it into your mouth. You're like drinking straight
I feel
lime
like that
juice.
won't even be that hard.
We're doing it on the next episode. She said it.
Lime juice is yummy.
You better prove it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's
Have
go.
you seen the trend where people do like shots and like some people have tequila shots and some people have water shots and you have to like guess who has which?
I haven't really seen that, but it sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, when I'm off Full 30, we should do that.
All right.
Also, we need to talk about how TikTok is changing the way Gen Z talks. So I know you were really excited about this Economist article. And I did the process, like did the trial, uploaded my credit card information. I have 7 days to cancel it. The article was so mid. It was clearly written from someone who's like never been on TikTok before. Because they're like, demure in the original form means old, but people on TikTok are using it to mean modest. And it's like, duh, like, okay. Like,
duh for someone like you who's like in the TikTok culture and in the TikTok vocabulary. And like works around and hangs around Gen Z.
Yeah, but it didn't say anything about like real like data or like insight. Like it had no POV. Like that was my thing. I was like kept reading about like what TikTok is doing with words. and all of it is true, but it didn't give me anything like the only tangible nugget from there was that the Webster's, like the Oxford Webster's dictionary, whatever, like the dictionary of the words.
Okay.
They can't keep up with adding words because a new word needs to be used at least for 5 years before it can be added to the dictionary. So sometimes they're adding dictionaries that feel old because 5 years in internet time is like forever. And like people stop using those words.
So I wonder what words they're adding this year that have been used for the last 5 years.
I know. And every year Oxford comes out with like the word of the year that's supposed to like represent the year. So last year it was Riz, which I love.
Yeah.
But then there's also this whole thing of like
Sliving.
People are using, no, that's old. Like Paris Hilton trademarked it.
It's old because it has to be used for 5 years.
Right. Maybe it could be sliving. But I don't think they could use that because
it's trademarked.
Yeah, it's trademarked. What I was going to say is like they're not necessarily inventing new words. They're just using words in a different way, like demure, which was like boggling the writer's mind. Like they're using it a completely different way.
Well,
like,
Riz is a new word.
Riz is a new word.
It's a play on an existing word, but...
Right. They also talked about colloquialisms that are on the rise. So Gen Z are saying yapping instead of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. And they're trimming words like delulu instead of delusional.
Right. Love that.
Yeah. So I just felt like it didn't like give me anything.
All right. Thank you for your notes. What I thought was interesting and worth talking about was more like the moral of the article, like the headline essentially, which is that a platform like TikTok is changing the behavior of a generation. And I think that is interesting to me and in a positive way. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
I think MTV and Much Music did that for us. Like, that's where we got all our slang and references.
Youth and younger generations have always found a way to like use slang and create words that like are cool, you know? Yeah. Like, remember Fleek? Yeah.
That was Mean Girls, wasn't it?
Right.
Or no? What was it from? Do you know, Morgan?
Yeah, I think it's just
like an internet video.
Oh, Fetch was
right.
Mean Girls.
Fetch.
Stop trying to make Fetch happen. And they were in
Fleeking
Fleek.
on Chic.
Right.
Or Chic and on Fleek.
The other thing that the article. Sorry, I keep on pulling things up from this article, but I think
this article you didn't like.
This article I didn't like. Okay, but one thing that I wish the article went into more was how people are starting to create terms, like colloquialisms or like new terms that mean other things than what the word is, because they're working around the TikTok algorithm. So, for example, if there's a video where they want to talk about sex, they instead say SEGGS, segs. And so, like, that is just so, and if you're on TikTok, like, you don't think twice. You just, like, know what that means. But for, like, the author who has never been on TikTok, like, they would be like, whoa, like, they're using this whole new, what is this? SEGGS? Like, what's the origin of this word? It's
is it
like,
a play
it's
on
nothing.
Eggs? Is it about procreation?
Exactly. Like, it's not that deep. It's just how to get around the algorithm.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Interesting. Psychology. That's why I wanted this story in consideration. Thank you for
it was
humoring
considered.
Me.
Let's get on to their next big thing.
Okay. Big thing 3. UK nightclubs are going to be extinct by 2030.
R.I.P.
The Nighttime Industries Association, which honestly, speaking of awesome names, like I liked the name of the study earlier. I think this is an awesome name for an association, but I wish it was about something different.
The only thing is it has a bad acronym. NTIA.
Who cares about the acronym?
Oh.
Nighttime Industries Association should be about like how I can have a good sleep.
It's like about the opposite though.
Sleep masks and it's kind of about the same because nightclubs are going away. So instead of nightclubs, talk to me about my sleep masks, noise machines, fans.
Well, that's probably the issue they're trying to fight.
All I'm saying is I thought it was a cool name, but it should be used for something else. Anyways, the NTIA has calculated that if nightclubs continue to close at the current trajectory, that literally none will be left by December 31st, 2029. On this topic, I feel like we need to put the Nighttime Industries Association tasked on climate change. If they can get rid of emissions at this kind of pace, That's productive.
Well, okay, just to be clear, the Nighttime Industries Association is not trying to make the nightclubs go away. They're trying to protect the nightclubs. So it's like an association that's like championing nightclubs and asking the UK government to protect nightclubs.
Yes, I know. I'm just trying to be funny, okay?
That's a good joke.
Thanks a lot. Recent data found that 10 UK nightclubs close every single month, with 30% of nightclubs having closed since March 2020.
Which is...
let's be honest. March 2020 of all times when the pandemic hit. Yeah, a lot of nightclubs closed. NTIA is going on offense and pressuring the British government to protect the nightclubs, like Mitzi said. So obviously there's a lot of factors at play here, but it kind of compounds on some of other signals that we've been seeing and talking about, some of them on this show, some of them in Scan Club. We talked about how millennials and Gen Z are starting to play bingo instead of going clubbing. We just talked about how young people their favorite activity is going to the movies, how it's more about platonic relationships rather than romance and meeting a partner. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just feel like I think we're changing. Like, I think the clubbing generation is maybe aging out and not going to these clubs, and young people just aren't as interested in clubbing as we were. And I think that's okay. The interesting thing about clubs is they associate it not just with like dance clubs, but also like jazz clubs and like, you know, like music halls and things like that where like live shows happen. And when I think about it in that context, that makes me sad because like we should still have like our jazz clubs and piano bars and things like that. Like I do feel like it has a place in our culture and it's important to like have a place for that kind of stuff. But I think we need to like reimagine how people frequent these places and like I don't know, create more like versatility in like the nightclub, you know?
Yeah, I think there's still a place for more of like the lounge, like socializing kind of environment where it's less like excess use of substances and more like casual use of substances and opportunity for conversation instead of just like getting a little delulu.
Right.
And I think there's also, maybe this is speculative, but I also wonder if this is influenced at a macro level by things like Epstein and like Diddy and the stuff that's coming out around figures like that and what truly happens at crazy parties,
right.
You know, where there's excess use of substances and people are obviously being exploited and taken advantage of. So I think as we start to kind of reckon with those realities, then people are like, it's not worth it.
Right.
Know?
Right.
So,
yeah. And it like to be that's like such a fair point because as a young girl who I went to clubs a lot when I was a like teenager and early 20s, like it wasn't safe. Like it was not a safe environment. So I can see why like this next generation just like maybe is like saw the mistakes and like pains from our generation and just isn't as interested. But this might not even be a generational thing. I keep going back to being like young people don't like clubbing, but maybe it's like just
it's more of a cultural
us
shift
too. Like it's like we're not that old. Like we're just like not. Honestly, I feel like clubs right now are like way too loud. Some restaurants are too loud for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, just turn it down. Like an ideal club or like night spot for me would be a piano bar.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
What would be an ideal club for you?
Volume is definitely a factor for me. Like, I want to be able to talk to my friends. I'd love to be in a setting of anywhere from 3 to 15 people that I know, whether we're all together or across multiple tables. I'd like to be sitting.
Yes.
Obviously, the
Sitting
option
is
to get up
key.
and move around is nice, but I don't want to be standing the entire time. Same with concerts. If I'm at a concert, I want the option to sit, at least for part of it. Obviously, if that music gets me on my feet, let's go, you know? But yeah, that's my ideal situation. I also have found that drinking is less appealing to me. Sometimes I do enjoy a couple margs or like, you know, a beer or two, but there's also other kind of interesting settings where that don't require alcohol or even don't allow alcohol. Like recently I went to a hookah bar with some friends and they're not licensed. So you don't drink alcohol there. We had green tea and had hookah, and that was cool just to change it up, be in a different environment. There's TVs on, and you could kind of see they were like gathering points, all the tables, and it really facilitated conversation.
Yeah.
And it's more of like a relaxing thing that you're doing.
You know, I see a lot on TikTok is R&B brunch clubs where I have to sneeze. R&B brunch clubs where they'll serve brunch and they'll like have a DJ playing like old school R&B music and like everyone's up and singing. Like it like seems like it's like a club, but like people are just like standing up at their table just like singing because they can't help it. Like the music just like takes them away. So I think that would be perfect. But
R&B takes you away for sure.
For sure, it takes me away. Yeah. That could be cool. I just feel like maybe we need like more themes. You know?
Like what would be an example of a theme?
I don't know. Like an R&B brunch club.
Oh, like R&B is the theme?
Yeah.
Got it.
And brunch.
Yeah. I'm not huge on brunch, but it's probably just because I have a sensitivity to eggs.
Right. The other thing that I think could be cool, like, and maybe we should try this on a date, is like a trivia night. Although I'm so bad at trivia.
Yeah, I think it totally depends on like what the topic or the theme is.
Yeah.
But I'd be open to it. I feel like there's some good trivia nights around town.
Yeah, we should look into it.
Yeah.
Piano bars and trivia nights and improv.
Yes. Stand-up comedy I think would be fun too. To like go, you sit at a table, you laugh.
I'm actually afraid though to go to stand-up comedy.
You don't want to be targeted?
Exactly.
I mean, what can they say about you?
Insult me. I mean, which is fine. Like you have to kind of go and be like, whatever, like have a thick skin about it.
Yeah. You'd be fine.
Yeah, I'd be fine.
They'd end up making fun of me. We know.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like that even more.
Interesting. You'd end up coming for the comedian.
No.
You got anything else to say about UK nightclubs?
I don't think so. Just like prayers up for UK nightclubs. For real.
I mean, would we miss them?
Well, I will say like it is sad to see like venues close and like someone's business close, you know, and shut down. I just think like there may be an opportunity like pivot like what
be a restaurant.
Yeah, what
be a cocktail
a
bar.
night out looks like, you know?
Yeah.
And I do feel like I'd love to see live music come back and like more of that happening in like cities and around towns and not just like huge stadium tours like the Eras Tour and whatever. Like there is a place for smaller venues and smaller tours and things like that. So I don't want to see like nightclubs go away. I just personally need to figure out.
Maybe they just need a rebrand.
Yeah,
and just
like
like
a
kind of like a
rebrand,
new
yeah.
approach.
Yeah.
I think live music is key. I think it feels like, maybe I'm just out of the loop, but it feels like we've kind of lost some of that live music, local music circle or space through the pandemic. And maybe it's like slowly coming back, but I would love to see clubs turn into more like music venues, comedy venues.
Yeah.
Lounge opportunities, like kind of like social opportunities that aren't so heavily focused on just like heavy consumption.
Right. Actually, on that note, I'm seeing a lot more DJs play at coffee shops, which is cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So sipping a coffee, having
DJs
a
are
DJ.
getting
I
more
would
versatile.
love that actually.
Yeah. I like that too. And live music is great for coffee shops.
Yeah.
Well, this was a good one.
Jam-packed.
Thanks for humoring me with some of these stories. And thanks for joining us today on YouTube or podcast players. Make sure you like and subscribe, share it with your friends, leave us a review. And before we go, I always got to ring this gong. See you next time.
Bye. Nice. That was good. Good heavy hit.